Namaste, Jai Bharat. Terrorism turns into a global phenomenon now, though terrorism originated with the or after the 1857 struggle for independence in Bharat. It's immediately after that this Jihadi terrorism really originates. So it originates in Bharat and the larger world remained unaffected for a long time till now. But now terrorism is a phenomenon to reckon with for all people in the world. We are having continuously terrorist attacks in our nation. We had been fighting, we had been resisting, we had been catching them, and the erstwhile governments, especially the Congress governments, obviously, were extremely soft with these people out of their own fear and out of their own inability to compromise, inability to understand things and comes to terms with it. They wanted to. They were not interested in the nation largely, but they wanted to have their own kind of existence, subsistence, and they were not directly and personally affected by these terrorist activities in Bharat. Otherwise, these people should have acted, could have acted. They did not. It's only now that we are really addressing terrorism in a meaningful manner, which goes on. And now, many others just started taking lessons from us. China, for instance. China, of course, is harsh when it comes to their national interest. Good. Out of 3, 2, that is 2 by 3 kind of mosques they have destroyed. Thousands of mosques destroyed. 2/3 of the total mosques in China got destroyed recently officially. And they don't make any minaret to stand up as an Islamic structure symbolized. They have destroyed it because they have understood, especially to the Uyghur Muslims, the extent of threat that could go against a nation by terrorism, jihadi terrorism. They have done this. The European nations are slowly learning. These people were controlled. European nations had the problem. They were by and large controlled by the left, liberal and radicals. The radical Islam was under the parda, curtain. Left liberals were the people who were at the surface precipitating and talking to people in general, and they were talking about all lofty things like humanism, this thing, that thing, liberalism, what is it, liberty, fraternity, all those kind of stories, cock and bull stories. That's what influences, not influenced, all European nations. So it believes in the goodness of human being, which is a mistake that Marx did. Believed in the goodness of human beings. One postulate is that man is essentially good. If you look closely into Marxian theories, he is basing himself on this assumed postulate that man is essentially good. Whereas people who thinks like Charles Darwin would say man is essentially self-seeking. Now, which is correct is for you to judge, understand, and evaluate. I am not making any suggestions. So, practically, this kind of a postulate that man is essentially good cannot be extended in all situations. That I am sure can't be extended in all situations. Everyone in the world is not Buddha. Jihadi terrorism is a phenomenon existing and which is going to come to your door and knock today or tomorrow. That's the situation in European nations. When there were problems in Islamic nations, again terrorism, that is the extreme kind of Islamic fundamentalism of literally turning back to 14th century's barbaric existence. Then many nations had problems and many people had to flee. of they fleeing from Islamic nations to European nations for the kind of overt freedom which they think they can get in such countries, and they do get. And once these people get freedom, and many nations, in fact most of the nations, provide for them, give them shelters, give them place to exist, live, eat, food, etc. And then they will take out their freedom on others, because they don't consider others are humans. That's the problem. That's the kind of teaching which they have received. And they can't do anything with those infidels. Others are infidels according to his thought. And this man believes that real life begins after death. So these two things combined together, these people will do anything. They want to die through a holy war, according to them. And they will go about creating problems, and all European nations which took refugees had been facing law and order problem from day one in a macro level, which goes into micro level which had developed into macro level in time. And still these left liberals and implied radicals wouldn't let them act. This will go on, and there will be time that the water goes above their noses, and then they will have to doom. They will have to drown themselves, and no way if they don't act. Some people do act. It is the people, the Democrats, the people in such nations have extremely gone to the right kind of right-wing right, because there's no other way, right-wing politics, which of course tries to arrest this movement, not in a manner which they understand. They will understand only the brutal, harsh way of suppression and destruction, that should happen. Otherwise they are not going to understand. Given any chance, they will continue repeating the same story, repeating the same activities, and involving in terrorism of all possible kinds. New kinds of things come. That simply bomb, blast, destruction out there in the street, with a small knife, keep killing, attacking people, or an explosive loaded vehicle gets charged into crowded place. All these are ways or entrance to heaven according to them. What to do? So now at least these people are trying to, some people at least are trying to understand, and this emergence of right-wing political movement is because of their helplessness, because this kind of left liberal beauty and lotus eating kind of philosophy of Tennyson, poetry, not philosophy really, Tennyson, all those things. So if survival is what you really want, then you have to look at terrorism as terrorism, jihadi terrorism as jihadi terrorism. You can read books. There are quite a few books written about jihadi terrorism. One of this book I would suggest is published by Mr. Manohar. There's Jihadi Terrorism on the Trail of its Epistemology and Genealogy. That talks about how terrorism began, and it all began in Bharat. This thing which I told you, after 1857, first struggle for independence, from there it begins. And separatism is the most innocent discussion which will take you right to the jihadi terrorism in time. Time may not be short. Time may be not long also. It depends on the context and situations. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.